Hello, everyone, and welcome back to DSP versus the Internet, episode 89, the next to last episode. We got 3 more Ultra member submissions, and then we get to some super member questions, and then the open randomized playlist. So let's go and see what's next. You're a superhero. That's a hell of an intro, I must say. That was pretty showy intro, huh? Hello.
Hello, hungry people. My name is Joe, and you're at the Joe is Hungry channel, where sometimes we review a new menu item just because it's a little weird, right here within the city limits of Fairmount, Georgia. Before we dive into this and get ourselves into a little bit of a pickle, we need to do, quickly, the Joe is Hungry birthday shout-out. Abby G.
I don't care about your birthday shout-out and stuff.
Pass the Joe is Hungry consistency weight test. Well, Jimmy John's, they don't bless us with any serving weights. Not a whole lot I can do about that, except add them all up, average them out, do the math, and you come out with a semi-average 73 cents an ounce. So now it's time to do the one and only, the Joe is Hungry big reveal.
A Picklewich? A Picklewich? Would you eat a Picklewich? Like, here's the thing. I like pickles. I actually do. I legit love pickles. I think they're delicious. I like different kinds of pickles. I like dill. I like the ones that are sweet. What are those called? Gherkins. I like sweet and sour pickles. I like spicy pickles. I wouldn't want to eat a sandwich that is a giant cucumber. Like, you have to eat the whole pickles while you're eating the meat, and there's no bread? I don't know if I like that at all. That's just too much pickle, right? Like, for me, the pickle is something that adds a balance of flavor on a sandwich, or it's something that cleanses your palate in between different flavors. It's not supposed to be the majority of what you're eating, right? This doesn't make any sense. The new Vito Picklewich review. This is bizarre. This is odd.
This is what it looks like, and this is what it's supposed to look like. This is what it looks like, and this is what it's supposed to look like. We've seen what it looks like, and we saw how much it was. It remotely resembles the sad photos. It's got a little bit of crush factor, a little slippery, slidey, drippy, messy kind of thing going on.
Of course, it's pickles. They're wet. That's the point. They've been saturated in vinegar and everything, so they're soaked.
But that only leaves one more test, and that would be the one and only, the Joe is Hungry bite test. So it is bite test, engage.
Don't stand in my way. I'm already out.
What is this music? Yo, this guy's crazy. He's got the zaniest effects in music. This is out of control, dude. What is the music? Oh, look at all the drip. Dude, there's tons of liquid squirting out of it when you bite it. Oh.
To make me come back for more. God knows I've tried seeing eye to eye, but it's been going on.
What the fuck is this song? What is this song? Yo, this is the best. Imagine if I had this kind of music playing when I was doing DSP Tries It. Oh my god. We need this guy on the Level 1 podcast. I mean, his production values are good. His production values are quite good. He has, for the record, I don't think he gets many views. I think that, I'm not even kidding you. I think this video has like 9,000 views. You want to check? This video has 9,000 views. He has over 120,000 subs, but I guess for whatever reason, he just doesn't get a lot of views. It's weird. He's also not verified. He totally should have gotten verified during the era of verification. He does certain things that do get views. For example, Wendy's Krabby Patty collab burger review got 22,000 views, right? He actually did the Firehouse subs. Raising Cane's 3-finger combo, 26,000. Yeah. So some of his stuff gets okay views and other stuff just doesn't. See, the problem with making your entire channel this, it's very simple. When you make your entire channel this, basically you're beholden to products being out. And this was the problem that I used to have with DSP Tries It all the time, is that if there just isn't enough new product out to try, you're stale, you're dry, you got nothing to work on. There may be times of the year when all of a sudden every fast food place has a new item and you have a whole bunch of stuff to do. And then there could be times when there's nothing going on. What are you supposed to do, right? So I'm happy I never really focused all my content on that. Imagine if all of my incoming content was based on just eating fast food, like, ugh.
For way too long.
Especially if I had to eat this.
And start to lose your head when you get a little drunk. So baby, I will pack up my things, leave before you start.
The pickle is tart, crunchy, has a nice flavor all by itself. I can't taste any of the vegetables, and I can barely taste the cheese. The pickle flavor completely overwhelms everything, maybe except for the salami. I can taste that. This is a very wet, drippy, slidey mess of a faux sub, so get ready to put plenty of napkins in your lap. Before I can give this his final score, I need to roll back the hands of time, get Shadow Joe's take, and do the Joe is hungry sneak-a-doodle bite. Sneak-a-doodle bite, number 1. Sneak-a-doodle bite, number 2.
So he bought 2.
Sneak-a-doodle bite, number 3. Got yourself in a little bit of a pickle there, don't you, Shadow? You know, you're not even funny. Well, this is definitely hard to bite through, no question about that. And it's definitely very heavy in pickle flavor, actually overwhelming the meat inside, although I can still taste it. So, let's go ahead and give it a score. If you don't know my scale is 1 to 10, 9 being the best, anything above 9 is a once in a lifetime experience and almost never achieve. 5 and down is that slippery slope to the pits and depths of fast food hell. So let's go ahead and give this the number that it truly deserves. Jimmy John's. In my opinion, this is nothing but a holiday novelty item made out of existing ingredients with not a lot going for it. Frankly, it's a mess and kind of difficult to eat. Some of you may love this out there, but if you haven't guessed, I'm not a huge fan of this today. That being said, it was made with fresh ingredients, it was definitely assembled with care, I can attest to that, and it is edible. So, what to do?
He's pondering this like it's such a very important thing for his 9,000 views he's going to get on this video.
This is difficult.
Oh, it's so hard.
5.0, that is my number. This is my review, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's funny. So basically he cheats. He actually eats it in the car, records it, then goes home with another one, eats one at home, and then gives his actual review. That's very odd. The other thing about it is like, so this video getting 9,000 views, correct? I want to look at his channel again. So this got 9,000 views. Can we close this? He just did a fried gobbler sandwich at Arby's, right? Like, no exaggeration, ad revenue on this stuff is not going to be great. You know what I mean? Like, it's not at all. This video, 9,000 views would probably make you tops $20. And he bought 2 of those sandwiches, which probably are between, like, you know, around $10 each, maybe like $5 to $10. So he also had the drive there. Like, did he make any profits on that? I'm curious. Did he make any profits on that at all? Is he even monetized? I don't know. Maybe this is just a... Is this just a hobby for him? Maybe it's just a hobby. You know, I guess if it's a hobby, then you're kind of like, you're overthinking it, right? If it's just a passion project, a hobby, then it's not a big deal. But, like, I'm thinking about it, I'm like, he buys 2 of each thing. He eats 1 in the car, then he eats 1 at home. He's doubling up on cost. Like, no exaggeration, there's 2 reasons why I stopped regularly doing DSP Tries It. The first is because I wanted to cut down on eating as much fast food. Because remember, it used to always be fast food. But so before, now I do different things. I do restaurant food and stew. But it used to just be fast food. I wanted to cut down on fast food. That was one. Number 2 was the cost. Like, if I'm doing a video and it was back then, it was making maybe like 5,000 views a video. But I was buying the meal and the meal was like 10, 15 bucks. I wasn't even paying for the meal. So it wasn't even a profitable thing. Now I do DSP Tries It as a reward because you guys are already supporting me with these goals and stuff all day. So now I can definitely afford it. It's not a big deal. It's just a celebration for you. It's not really a profitable video for me, right? But this guy, he's not a streamer or anything. So he's doing a review with a lot of editing. He's doing a review with eating it twice. Is it really aligning with the cost involved? I don't know. Interesting. But maybe, again, maybe it's just a hobby for him. The video quality is great. Like, I like all the effects and everything.
The reason I'm stopping you is because you don't have any license plates on this car.
Okay.
Any reason for that?
I'm from Dubai. It's my license plate right there.
Okay, but you're not in Dubai. You're...
I'm visiting as a tourist.
Well, no, you're not visiting as a tourist if you brought a car with you. Okay,
well,
do you have your driver's license with you?
Yeah, of course. How it works is we ship the cars, we get a permit, and
You don't have a permit.
what you need is a carnet.
What's that?
A carnet. It's a very rare thing. I know you're confused, but we
No,
fly
I'm
them.
not confused.
It's a temporary import. It's not a permanent thing. We fly our cars here, we do our trips, and we fly them back. That's how it works. I know it's confusing, but...
No, it's not confusing. It's very simple.
No,
All
sir,
right? If you have some sort of import,
Yeah.
that's to get it into the country. Okay?
I'll
Let me see what you have that says you can drive it on the road in Oregon.
You understand in a second.
Pardon me?
You're gonna understand in a second.
I'm pretty sure I know what I'm talking about right now.
So this is my permit. It's an international federal agreement.
Okay. Canada? Okay.
No, sir.
There you go.
This is UAE.
I need your insurance.
All right. Why are you so defensive? I'm trying
Pardon
to.
me?
Why are you so defensive? I'm trying to.
No, I'm just asking for these documents, and you won't quit talking about other stuff.
No, sir. I provide you everything
I
you
want
ask
your
for.
insurance, okay?
I provide you-
I don't need anything else right now. Did you find your insurance?
Yes, sir. There you go,
This is not insurance.
sir. On the bottom, you can read it. It's insurance. The policy number is there as well.
Where are you taking this car?
I'm going to Canada.
We're going where?
I'm going to Canada, Vancouver.
Where did you import the car into?
From Canada. I drove it in here. I do a road trip every 2 years.
You do a what trip?
Imagine you want to drive your car in Europe. What do? You ship your car there, you drive it for a month, and you ship it back.
No, that's not what I do. Okay, look.
Yes, sir.
Here's your stuff here. You got to get a temporary permit, okay? I have another call I have to go to.
Sir,
Be
you don't-
safe pulling out into
It's
traffic.
a federal law. You don't know the law.
So basically he's saying, yeah, it says Lamborghini owner gets put in his place, right? So, but what really happened here? The thing is, it is hard to react to because I don't know who's in the right. Is it true that you can have an international agreement and you ship your car, you don't need to have a permit to drive it as long as you have the agreement and you have insurance and you have everything else? Or do you actually need a permit? I don't know. And if that's the case, right, why is the cop leaving? Right? It's very confusing. I don't know. It seems like, why would the cop be leaving if the cop was in the right and knew the guy didn't have what he needed? Why would he just leave him there? It doesn't seem to make sense. So I'm very confused. right? About the whole thing. It could very well be that the cop is not well versed and doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm not sure. Wow, my thing is crapping out here. My chat is crapping out. Here we go. It wasn't working for a second there. It's still not working. Okay, there we go. Maxwell said this is like the sovereign citizens who think they can drive without a license and say that they have the right to travel when the cop breaks the window and beats the shit out of them. But is it? I don't know. I know nothing about international law and permits to drive a car. You know what I mean? It's just bizarre to me that if the cop is in the right and he's like, no, it doesn't matter what your international agreement is, you still need to have this, documentation. If the guy doesn't have it, why is he leaving now? He said, oh, I have another call. That's great, but you're still in the middle of this one. Right? I don't understand. Yeah, my chat is crapping out for some reason here on YouTube. I can't get it to work. I'm going to try to reload the YouTube chat. But in the meantime, we'll watch this next video is our last Ultra video of the week.
Whether it's Batman vs. Superman, Alien vs. Predator, or even Godzilla vs. Kong, versus films have always intrigued audiences. Our imaginations just go wild when it comes to massive characters clashing with each other.
Yeah.
And after the massive success of Freddy vs. Jason, studios were really hoping they could replicate that result. While other combinations like Chucky and Leprechaun were discussed, there was never any forward momentum. But there was one rumor that kept popping up that intrigued horror fans everywhere. What if the lead Cenobite from Hellraiser were to throw down with Haddonfield's infamous sister killer? That's
why would that even make sense? Like, okay. Michael Myers versus a demon. Michael Myers is like an unstoppable killer, but he's still supposed to be like a human, right? Like there was never a plot line where Michael Myers became a demon or fully supernatural, was there? To my knowledge anyway. Like if you do Freddy versus Jason, well, Freddy is a demon, correct? He's a human a serial killer who died and became a demon. And Jason also is like an undead demon. I mean, in the plot line, he eventually becomes a fucking worm that jumps from body to body and shit, right? But what does this pairing have to do with anything? This doesn't even seem to make sense. How would Michael Myers stop a demon? I don't even get it.
Precisely what we almost got. So join us on what the f happened to this unmade horror movie as we dive into what could have been with Michael versus Pinhead. With Freddy vs. Jason kicking all sorts of ass at the box office.
Yeah, it did. It made tons of money. I saw it at the box office too. It was pretty good in the theater.
Other films immediately started popping up just like it. We finally received the long-awaited Alien vs. Predator.
And it sucked. The first AVP is a terrible fucking movie.
And the Sci-Fi Channel even got in on the action, providing us with Boa vs. Python and Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toys.
Oh, I heard about that one. I've never seen that, but I heard about that. Two similar movies, right? Two similar plots, and I guess they face off against each other.
But when you think of the big faces of horror, outside of Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees, there's often one other figurehead, Michael Myers. But who would he face? Given that Dimension Films, who owned the rights to Myers at the time, also owned the rights to another popular horror villain, Pinhead, that seemed like the obvious choice. While the idea had been brought up in the 90s, with Pinhead himself, Doug Bradley, being very against the idea, it still had a bit more steam to it.
It is a dumb idea. Michael Myers, you have to find someone who's going to be like the same level, right? Like, who would be the same level as Michael Myers? Like a serial killer, but it's rooted more in humanity, like a real guy, as opposed to a supernatural killer. I don't know. You have to think about it. What do you guys think? Ghostface? Yeah, but the thing is, Ghostface is always a different person. That doesn't really make sense. You'd have to figure out, like, who would be the equivalent or being able to match up. Like, definitely, Jason Voorhees versus Freddy made sense. Leatherhead? You mean Leatherface? I don't know if he's as popular. You know what I mean?
Screenwriter Dave Parker, who would go on to make films such as The Hills Run Red and a segment in Tales of Halloween.
What the fuck is
started
that? Never heard of
developing a
them.
script in the late 90s that would pit the two horror icons against each other.
Pennywise? Dude, Pennywise is a fucking spider or a shape-shifting monster that focuses on your fears. So I don't know how that would work. Michael Myers is Hannibal Lecter? What? Hannibal Lecter's is a normal dude.
Yeah, you heard
I
me
don't know.
right. The 90s. But that doesn't mean this wasn't Freddy vs. Jason inspired, as Parker was anticipating massive success from
You know what's
that-
funny? Watching it in HD looks like shit. Wow, that looks bad. I've never seen it in HD. I've only seen it, you know, back in the day in the theater, and then I owned the regular DVD. That looks so fake. Look how bad the blade is. It looks so fucking fake, and you can tell he's not even stabbing him.
long gestating project.
It looks terrible.
And knew other studios would want to capitalize. I'm sure he didn't think it'd take New Line quite so long to finally get their movie done, but hey, it finally happened, and he was right. Studios wanted more. Parker's version was titled Halloween.
Halloween.
Well then, guess we're not starting out on a strong note. Parker wanted to approach the two characters in an almost Frankenstein meets the Wolfman style, which was a bit lighter than their own individual entries. As such, Parker started to also play with the characters' mythologies. Oy vey. First up was Michael, whose origins are completely retconned. Instead of murdering his sister on Halloween night in the way that we know it, he is instead given the lamentation configuration by a
What?
mysterious homeless man. When young
What?
Michael opens it up, a demon named Sam Hain comes out and possesses the child. So now, possessed Mikey murders his sister, and you know how the rest goes. Everything else happens how we remember it. Then we skip to present day, and for some reason, Kirsty Cotton from the first two Hellraiser entries and several others are at Michael's house looking for something.
What?
Because reasons. They're able to find the puzzle box, but one of these dummies accidentally opens it and releases the Cenobites. This also signals Michael that he needs to come home. There's a bit of a struggle as the sides clash in Myers' old house.
Well, I've never seen Hellraiser movies. I think I only saw like the first one ages ago. I never knew they walked through the streets doing shit like that. I gotta watch these movies now.
But when Michael finally shows up, Pinhead immediately recognizes him as Sam Hain and is on a mission to return him back to hell. You know, think Frank from Hellraiser Part 1. But Parker's pitch did not go well, and Dimension had no intentions of ever merging the two franchises. They even rejected yet another pitch in 2002. Now, skip ahead a year, and Dimension was absolutely down to merge the two franchises after seeing the great success that New Line had doing it. And they already had some old pitches to dust off. We already went over Parker's, but what about the one from screenwriters Josh Stolberg and Bobby Florsheim? You may recognize Stolberg and Florsheim as the writers behind Piranha 3D, Jigsaw, and even Spiral. But long
So they basically did the spin-off Saw movies.
ago, they were just TV writers with a grand idea. Halloween in Hell, Michael versus Pinhead. Their screenplay was an absolute love letter to horror films, opening on a survivors group that includes Kirsty Cotton and Jamie Lloyd from Halloween Parts 4 through 6, but also characters from Critters, Leprechaun, and even Phantasm.
Wow,
We even get an
that's
acknowledgement
cool.
from Jamie of the Thorn Curse. And you'll be happy to know that they did intend to bring back Danielle Harris. As the meeting ends, Michael strikes, trying to kill her. Kirsty uses the lamentation configuration to block Michael's knife, but he pierces it and embeds the knife in Kirsty's chest, summoning the Cenobites. This is actually a pretty cool moment because despite Kirsty dying, which really sucks, it does make things more personal. Plus, we get the wonderful moment of Kirsty saying to Pinhead, "You never got me," just before she dies. It's truly fantastic, and even reading it, you can just feel Pinhead's contempt. He vows to get revenge on Michael for killing Kirsty. Then there's Jamie, who was wounded in the battle. She goes to the hospital for a blood transfusion because I guess she keeps a steady supply of her own blood at the hospital. Okay then. A nurse gives her the blood, but makes the grave error of putting it back into the general blood storage. This mistake causes 7 other people to be infused with Jamie's blood. Given the curse that's on Jamie's blood, Michael consents all of these people, so he's ready to go on a rampage.
Oh, I never saw those. Apparently, Michael Myers goes off the Thorn bloodline. I didn't even know that. Yeah, I had no clue. I've only saw like the earlier original Halloweens, and then I saw the reboot trilogy recently. I saw H2O as well, but I never saw those where I guess he's going after people who have the blood. Huh. That's interesting. Let's fast forward a little bit. Oh, wait, this is the most replayed? All right, let's see why.
Exciting moments of the story, and one I would have loved to have seen filmed. The big question for any of these versus movies is always, well, who wins? Most are able to slyly get around the topic, having both characters win in their own distinct way.
Save
Martha! And here is no different. The writers wanted the studio to release different endings with different victors, ultimately still ending the actual film in the same way of Jamie and Betsy closing the portal to hell. So it would really have little consequence for the next film if they had chosen to go that route. But yet again, Dimension just ended up being cold on the idea and turned it down. But in the most exciting turn of events, Dimension actually approached original creators John Carpenter and Clive Barker about creating their own film. Their idea was for Carpenter to direct and Barker to write. Shockingly, both filmmakers were very intrigued by the concept, respecting each other's work, while also seeing it as an opportunity to right the wrongs that the franchises have gone down. Doug Bradley, who had previously said he wasn't interested in such a team-up, said he was totally down if Carpenter and Barker were involved. But unfortunately, Dimension Films just didn't have the patience for anything but a rush job, something that Barker and Carpenter both loathed. Not to mention the massive roadblock that came in the way of Halloween producer Mustafa Akkad. Akkad, who owned the rights to Michael, had a set of rules for the franchise, and pairing him against Pinhead went against almost every single one of them.
But yet he has a fucking movie where he has Busta Rhymes beating up Michael Myers, right? Like he's like doing kung fu moves and shit. That was okay. But having Pinhead just going too far. All right. I think we've seen enough of that one. That is it for the Ultra Submission. So in the next part, we're going to do some super member Q&A, and then we're going to do an hour of reacting to the randomized playlist from the submissions tier videos. So, all right, guys. Thank you so much. See you in the next part of DSP versus the internet. Cool.